Hello friends and fellow collectors. Today we're cracking on with the second in the retro console series. We've got a few to get through, so I thought we'd better get on with it. Right, today we go way back into history. In actual fact, to 1983, which was the year that I started gaming. Bought my first console, a ZX Spectrum 64, I think it was. And this machine I obviously never had because it was Japanese. I'm talking about the Famicom, which was the Japanese version of the NES. Now there couldn't be any more difference in terms of style and design between the Japanese Famicom and the NES that we ended up with. Those of you who are into retro gaming will know what a NES looks like. It's a grey square box, looks like a breeze block, and it's just the most bland console I've seen in my life. That's not to say it's not a good console, because it was. But just for style and looks alone, absolutely horrible. As opposed to the Japanese counterpart, which came 2 years earlier, as I say, in 1983. Okay, now I bought this. I have to be careful here because it's an open box. I bought this a couple of years ago at the it might even have been last year, the year before this one, at the North East Retro Gaming Show. And I didn't buy it because I paid for it, and then somebody said to me, well, you realise that Famicom doesn't work on UK PAL TVs. I said, oh no, I didn't realise that. I said, did it need a mod? They said, yeah, but it's a very complicated one, so forget it. So I took it back to the guy I bought it off and says, do you mind taking this back? I just realised it's not working. But I'd always been in love with this machine just for its pure aesthetics. So I actually went back to him and said, look, I'm sorry to mess you about, but I've decided that I actually will buy this just to have it, just to put it in the collection. It's where us collectors get a bit weird, I mean, you would think to yourself, who would want a machine that doesn't work? Only people like me who've got to have it in the collection because it's so nice. Now this is the machine itself. Right, now, I mean, I don't know, this is one of the, apart from the PC Engine, this is my favourite looking machine of all time. It has two little slots in the side for the controllers there. They fit in there very nicely. I've got these are wired in, so can't take them out, and you've got your controller 1, controller 2, then you've got your on and off switch, your reset switch and your ejector. Now, Famicom and NES cartridges are famously very temperamental. You've got to clean them sometimes to get them to work. Now I've only actually got two games for it, both shooters. One's a boxed Xevious, and the other one is a Star Soldier unboxed, but I like the game, so I had to have it. Now, unfortunately, I can't play them on there, but in a minute I'll show you why I'm not bothered. It comes with I won't take these out of the box. It comes with I'll just show you, it's easier. So it comes with electric, plug in the electric, needs a step down transformer, which I explained when I did the PC Engine, modulates the frequency of the the current, you know, so we can play it on on our TVs. And then this is, I'm forgetting actually, it's an RF switch. So now, as I say, I'm a bit in the dark as to what all that's about, because as I say, I've never used it. I can't use it, so all I do is sit and look at it and think, oh, ain't that pretty. So now you're thinking, well, yeah, crazy man, you've got a machine there that only plays you've only got 2 cartridges for it, neither of which you can play. Wrong, because I found this little jobby. It's a Japanese FC Twin. Okay, there's the box for it. Stick that down there out of the way. This is the machine itself. It's very light. FC Twin, there you can see the power switch, and also this is a reset. Now the power, if you can see there, the power moves up and down between 16 and 8-bit. The reason for that is because this plays Japanese SNES cartridges and Japanese NES cartridges. So those 2 cartridges I've got actually play on this. It's I mean, I'd never seen one of these up until a couple of years ago when I bought it, and it was relatively cheap, and I thought, well, it's a Japanese machine. I love Japanese machines, and so I decided to buy it. There again, we have an adapter. That's the adapter which needs a step down once again, and then we have the controller, which is it's a bit like an old SNES controller, but it works. It works for both the NES cartridges and the SNES, so that's useful. Yeah, so I decided to pick that up, and now you'll be thinking, well, okay, you've now got 2 machines, and you can still only play 2 cartridges. Wrong. Again, because I've got this. Now I found this in a cache flash, what do they call them? Cache converters, they're the ones. And I never ever seen this before. I thought it was actually one of these little mini machines that you can buy these days. I was hoping it was one of those, but in actual fact it's something else altogether. I'll just show you. Now it's got, the weird thing about this is, okay, as you can see there, it's, I'm not going to take it all out, but you can see very well there. It's a full-size replica of the Famicom. Unfortunately, the only downside of this is it's only got 1 controller with it. Controller 1 is missing. That's controller 2. So I'll have to try and find a controller that works with this. That's your SCART lead, you know, which you've got some leads underneath this plastic here, which plug into it, and you can play it in SCART. But crucially, it's got that nice little cartridge at the top there. And I'll just show you that. Okay, that's a cartridge that plugs in. Now, as you can see there, I hope you can see there, it says 132 in 1. There must be a translation error there somewhere, because there's actually 400 games on that. They're all Japanese, which didn't bother me because I love Japanese games. There's actually 400 there. So if you add it to the 88 that's built in, I mean, you've got almost 500 games that you can play. So I mean, I'm set. You know, I've got the original machine, which I love. I've got the Twin, which will play any cartridges that I happen to pick up, and I've got this, which plays 500 Japanese games. So between the 3 of them, I'm pretty well covered. As I say, I never ever had it's not a machine that I've bought back. I never ever had one in the first place, but it's a lovely machine, and I thought I would throw that one in first today because of the way it looks and just the way I love it. Right, now secondly, we move on 10 years to the Atari Jaguar. Now, I've had many a conversation with, I wouldn't go so far as to say disagreements, but exchange of views, shall we say. Now, a lot of people have said that it's a horrible looking machine, it's ugly. Now, I disagree. I think the Atari Jaguar looks nice, you know, it's got nice lines to it. I haven't got a problem with it. I think it's a nice looking machine. And if I can just show you this before I get rid of it, a bit of room on the table. That's probably one of the best boxes I've seen for a console. I mean, that is just lovely. I mean, I was lucky to get this boxed in mint condition with a whole stack of games, most of which are in top shape. And yeah, so anyway, that's the machine in the box. And as I say, it came out in 1993. Had a troubled development, but finally they got it out in 93, and it was it didn't do particularly well because it struggled with the type of games that were put out for it. Unfortunately, a lot of them were games that have previously been seen on consoles like the PS1 and other machines. But having said that, it did have some very good games that were peculiar to the Atari. And in actual fact, it has one of my favourite games. I mean, if you take Ridge Racer out of the equation, it's one of my favourite retro games, the Tempest 2000 game that came out, which I will show you in a minute. So the really peculiar thing about this machine was I'll just show, this is the controller. I mean, this is a strange looking thing. It looks as if, you know, when you first look at it, you think, oh, how the heck am I going to get to grips with that? But once once you got to kind of persevere with it, it becomes second nature, really, like any other controller. Obviously, you got small hands, you might struggle with it, to be honest. But I'm lucky. I've got goalkeeper's mitts, so I'm all right. Yeah, and this little thing here, in most of the games, you had this little plastic. I don't know what you would call it. It's a plastic card that goes over the top, and it shows you which buttons you can use for various functions. Overlay, I think they call it, or inlay, is it? Overlay, probably overlay. Yeah, it just came to me there. And yeah, so that was the very, very peculiar handset for it. But so I've got no problem with it personally, but I know a few people that weren't too keen. So yeah, I mean, it's just a simple case of putting your cartridge in the top there, and you've got your on and off button at the bottom there, and I'm lucky enough, I'll put that out of the way, I'm lucky enough to have a proper SCART lead for it, which obviously gives you a much better picture than if you use the other alternatives, which would be, you've got power there, so yeah, you've got your horrible looking TV output, but yeah, as I say, just bung the SCART lead in, and if you can get one, and you get a perfectly decent picture. That was the, yeah, it came with the user's guide as well, so that was something nice that came with it. And so we move on. Right, I'll just make a bit of room here so I can get to them. Right, we come to the games. Now, as I said, you know, some of the games weren't very inspired or inspiring, come to that. But one of the top games that sold the machine was Alien v Predator, first-person shooter. I haven't played much of this, to be honest. Because when I put it on, I normally play Tempest. But yeah, it's a very well thought of game, and I was lucky to pick that up for a decent price because it's gone quite expensive now. But this is the game for the machine. I mean, Tempest 2000. Obviously, you know, for any of you not familiar with Jeff Minter's work, it's just a riff on the original arcade Tempest, you know, where you go around these tubes shooting down at aliens, and, you know, it's just a matter of getting a high score, keep going as far as you can, getting a high score. I mean, I've played this quite a lot, I've never completed it. It's one of those annoying, frustrating games that gets very hard. The deeper you get into it, I mean, you get about 2/3 of the way in, and it's, you know, it's rock hard. You need reflexes of a cat to play it, but it is for me, it's one of the great games. And I would keep an Atari. I would, if this one broke, I would buy another one just to play this. Excellent game. There's a few screenshots on the back to give you some idea. There's actually a Tempest 3000 that Minter did for a very little known machine. I can't bring the name of the machine to mind, but basically it's an American DVD player that plays games. How many games for it? Very few. But I would love to get hold of one just to play Tempest 3000. Another game that's quite well thought of on the machine is the port of Raiden, the arcade shooter, which I showed you on the PC Engine. Yeah, I mean, these first three I'm showing you are some of the more expensive games. Although there are some games that are even more expensive that I haven't managed to track down yet at a decent price. This was an old Amiga game, I think. I remember playing this on the Amiga, I'm sure. I might be wrong, but as you see, that's in absolutely mint condition. Syndicate. And Cannon Fodder, that's another old Amiga game. Came out on several platforms, but yeah, in mint again. Yeah, there's a unique racing game that never came out on any other machine I'm aware of. I might be wrong. Might come out for the handhelds, the Lynx. But excuse me. But yeah, Checkered Flag. It's not the best racing game in the world, but it's interesting for the fact that you can only play it on the Jaguar. Yeah, this is actually a Seal game. I mean, I've never played it. I don't care for it. That's another game I remember. There again, I might be wrong, but I seem to remember playing this on the Amiga, Commodore Amiga. But it might have been something else. That's not a game I enjoyed then, and so I haven't opened it. Just leave it sealed. You're not going to play it. There's a classic, Doom. Because that was ported to just about every console known to man, and it's not a great port to the Atari Jaguar, but it's not damned awful either. And that's the other very well known first person shooter, Wolfenstein 3D, which I suppose was was the first popular first-person shooter, you know, the first one that made any money back in the days of the Commodore Amiga. Although I know when it came on PC first, probably came on PC first, way back in the day. Right, there's another one peculiar to the Jaguar, Iron Soldier. It's another quite expensive game, just a sort of mech type of game. From the point of view of the mech. Not a game that I thought was superb or brilliant in any way, but it was okay. But there again, another one that's, you know, not cheap to buy these days. I just picked that one up a few weeks ago because, well, a few months ago now, because I remembered that there was a shooter peculiar. I mean, you know, from the last episode that I did, our love shooters, shmups as they call them, and I remember there was a shooter peculiar to the Atari Jaguar, and there again, that one I had trouble finding that at a decent price. I got there eventually, but it's one of the more obscure Jaguar games that everybody seems to have forgotten about. Just a horizontal shooter. It's not great, to be honest, but being a shooter, we had to have it. And then, last but not least, I think this is a Jaguar only game, Hover Strike. I might be wrong about that. But, yeah, there again, it's a bit like Iron Soldier, where you're shooting from the perspective of a hovercraft. Not the best game I've ever played, but certainly not the worst either. So yeah, something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that dozen Jaguar games is all I have at the moment. I mean, I'm always on the lookout for Jaguar games. I don't know how many were produced, but it's certainly not one of those machines that you can pick up a whole set for. You know, there were quite a few done. Yeah, I mean, as I say, it was a machine that didn't last too long. It didn't go down too well with the gaming fraternity, and unfortunately, it died a quicker death than Atari would have hoped for. But I find it an interesting machine, and there we are. That's what we have today for you. A bit shorter than usual. Next up will probably be the August pickups. You know, I've got some outstanding stuff to show you for that. So I think that'll probably be next, unless I decide to throw another retro gaming one in while I'm waiting for something to come in the post, maybe, or something. But yeah, anyway, that's the second part of retro machines, which I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the not too distant future. And thank you for watching. Bye bye now.